what you all witnessed was an excerpt from Spiral Q's 20th Annual Peoplehood Parade and Pageant. Not a beauty pageant, but in this context, pageantry refers to a theatrical display of stories through a broad strokes giant puppet play. For Spiral Q, the nonprofit I work for, Peoplehood is a celebration that centers and honors those living and working at the forefront of anti-oppression and oppression work. This year, we partnered with 3 local grassroots organizations, ACT UP Philadelphia, an international coalition working and advocating for people living with AIDS and HIV, Philly Thrive, was working to eliminate the oil refinery and advocate for clean and healthy air, and Shut Down Burks, working to shut down our local immigration family detention center. We translated messages into giant art and weave their stories together to amplify each issue by bringing their stories to life. Through pageantry, we're able to show the through line, connection that they all had to health, housing, self-determination, and freedom. Through pageantry, you can see and feel and understand the direct connection between health and housing in Philadelphia, specific to the AIDS and HIV communities in Philadelphia. You can see and understand its grim and very real impacts. And when I say support the Prescription for Housing campaign, you are clear about why. This is one example of our working to help advance justice. Making the art together also brought us all closer, and the end of our pageant that you don't see today envisions the win. That visioning brings us one step closer to a more liberated life. So I am an artist. With Spiral Q and independently, I utilize multiple disciplines to communicate our stories and my truth. And you all, by nature, are artistically inclined, programmed over tens of thousands of years to understand the arts. The arts are a part of culture. Music, dance, and visual art are our primal and primary forms of communication, and all in existence before written language. I have a long relationship with the arts, and the arts has a long relationship with the Homo sapien. Everyone knows that art has prehistoric origins, prehistoric meaning before the invention of written language. But did you know about this? What is that? It's a rock. Yes, it is a rock. But it's also a gong. These ringing rocks were used for making musical notes. It is an instrument. And we know of ones that date back to 5000 BC, before the existence of the first pharaoh of Egypt. We know about various gongs that have been discovered around Sudan that are in proximity to other rock paintings and burial sites. We have visual music, we have visual art and music, and we have dance, my love. Dance is theorized to have origins that predate even the Homo sapien. It is thought that dance originated as a way to communicate with one another as a means of survival. And other animals have also evolved to dance. So my point is, art is pretty foundational to human existence. Art is for everyone, and it is a part of all of us. Its deep roots have the power to supersede language and communicate across cultural boundaries. Art is an historian and an expression of culture. Both are intertwined and so vast that it can't be packaged into tidy, and neat concepts. Art may very well evade definition, but we cannot escape its truth. Art has the power to delve below the surface, to change actions, affect thoughts, feelings, and belief systems. Thank you very much. So, we all know that art is a part of us all, and we know that art can be a strong tool for illumination. But what does that have to do with justice and all of you? Well, what if we all knew that we are culture bearers? What if we all remembered the power of art? What if we all believed in collective liberation? So what is a culture bearer? Any individual, especially a migrant, who carries and thus diffuses cultural values and traits between societies. I say that a culture bearer is you. All of you. What? Yes, we are all migrants. Humans have traveled around the planet, following food, developing our cultures and our technologies along the way, and we are all diverse cultural, and all diffuse cultural values and traits between societies. Very often, all the time, several times a day. We witnessed art in action earlier, so let's imagine culture in action. Think about your favorite home-cooked meal. You got it? Like, can you almost taste it? That meal, and the journey that that meal has traveled across the globe to get to you, think about that. But culture is so much more vast than the foods we eat. It's the why behind it, multiplied by all the ways that we do all of the things. We hold and pass on cultural traditions. Culture encompasses art. It encompasses our evolution and the human systems we visioned and created and rejected and re-envisioned. We created art and we created justice. That means that we as culture bearers have the power and the choice to affect change. And that is critical to social justice. Humans have imagined and created all of these systems: agriculture, telephones, slavery, capitalism, the Dewey Decimal System. And art envisions and creates what we cannot see every day. Every day. And it explains things in a way that we can never understand on any other level. I need art to communicate. So I hold onto it fiercely. October 20th, 2007 was my first day of work with Spiral Q, and on that Peoplehood day, for the first time, I paraded around as my full, free self. Black, queer, woman, all together in one place. I didn't have to walk around like a fractured mirror, being proud to be black on this side, and being proud to be queer on this side, and then being proud to be a woman somewhere in between. I could be my full self. And so I held on to Spiral Q. 23 years ago, Spiral Q was founded because of our partnership with Act of Philly. That's right, you can clap. Yes. Making art for direct actions to save our lives. Because of that partnership, art and justice are one, and they live in every aspect of Spiral Q's work. Because of that partnership, I have had the honor and privilege of watching hundreds of eyes light up, young and old. Whenever I lead a workshop or we host a parade, I've held on for 13 years because I know 100% without a doubt that our work has deep and lasting impact. I held on when my dad would call me and push and say, "Jennifer, when are you getting a full-time job? What are you going to do for money?" I held on when my grandma asked me, "Jennifer, When are you gonna get benefits? You need benefits? Happy to report to Papa T and Grandma that in 2014, I got hired full-time. And I got benefits. And I love my benefits. Grandma, you're right. And you know what allows me to have benefits? Your public dollars. And you know what allows artists to have benefits? Your personal dollars. Did you know that about 17 years ago, there was a study done, and it revealed that about 90-something% of those people who were polled said, yes, I believe in the arts, support the arts, I support the arts. But only 20% of those same people said, yes, I believe in the artists, I support the artists. Achieving justice is part of our journey toward that collective liberation. Art is essential to who we are, and it has the power to shift culture. Art is a powerful tool, and we do well to value its multiplicity in depth and strategy. Centering and supporting the most marginalized voices will shift our culture. As art and culture bearers, we have the power, opportunity, and obligation to make sure that we all survive. Trust that the grassroots, local artists, and organizations are doing the cultural work of centering silenced voices and ignored stories. Constantly developing ever more equitable paths toward collective liberation. So what can you do? Support the cultural workers with more. Help bear the weight of pushing our global cultures into the next era with more public and personal resources. What we've envisioned is attainable, and I witness it every day in my work. Thank you.